Can the Spurs keep winning without their best player? Or are they just getting lucky? After 6 straight games without Victor Wembanyama, the answer is becoming crystal clear. The Silver and Black just outlasted Memphis 126-119 in a back-and-forth battle that came down to execution in crunch time. Harrison Barnes erupted for 31 points. De'Aaron Fox closed like a veteran assassin. And the Spurs' depth proved once again that they're not just surviving, they're thriving. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. The way San Antonio dominated from beyond the arc might actually reveal their biggest weakness when Wemby returns. Because the numbers behind this win tell 2 completely different stories about who this team really is. Let's break it down. What's up, Spurs fans? Welcome back to Spurs Quick News. Quick, sharp, and all about the Silver and Black. I'm your host. And today, we're diving deep into how the Spurs are rewriting expectations without their franchise centerpiece on the floor. Before we jump in, drop your city in the comments so we know where the Spurs family's tuning in from. The San Antonio Spurs are now 14-6 overall and an absolutely dominant 9-2 at home. That's not a rebuild record. That's a team fighting for playoff positioning in the loaded Western Conference. And they did it again Tuesday night against a Memphis Grizzlies squad that came in riding a 3-game winning streak and hungry to prove themselves. Final score: Spurs 126, Grizzlies 119. But here's what makes this win truly special. San Antonio won without their franchise centerpiece and their 2025 Rookie of the Year. Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle both sidelined with injuries. This is the Spurs' 6th straight game without Wemby, and they're 6-2 in that stretch. That's not luck. That's organizational depth and championship culture showing up when it matters most. The strategic adjustment against Memphis tells you everything about this team's basketball IQ. Against Minnesota 2 days earlier, they dominated in the paint but got destroyed from downtown. Against Memphis, they flipped the script entirely. 18 made threes compared to just 9 for the Grizzlies. That's adaptability. That's coaching. That's players reading the game and exploiting Memphis' defensive weaknesses. Yes, Memphis crushed them inside with a 58-42 paint advantage. Zach Edey was a monster with 19 points and 15 rebounds. But the Spurs didn't panic. They adjusted their attack, spread the floor with Harrison Barnes going nuclear, 7 for 12 from 3, and trusted their system. This is championship DNA wrapped in a young core that's learning how to win different ways. Do you think this tactical flexibility is what separates the Spurs from other young teams in the West, type elite coaching or young talent below? I'll read the best takes in the next episode. Now here's where this game reveals something truly special about what Mitch Johnson is building, and why the Spurs' development system deserves serious respect. Memphis came into this game with a crystal-clear game plan. Attack the paint relentlessly with Zach Edey and Jaren Jackson Jr., force the Spurs to defend without Wembanyama's rim protection, and dominate physically. And for stretches, it worked beautifully. 58 paint points, 50% shooting from the field, Jalen Wells contributing 20, Cam Spencer adding 21 off the bench. Memphis had every reason to believe they could steal this one. But here's the chess match that won San Antonio this game. Memphis bigs couldn't stay on the floor. Both Edey and Jaren Jackson Jr. battled foul trouble all night. JJJ was limited to 7 points because he spent more time on the bench than on the court. Edey picked up fouls early when Harper attacked downhill, forcing Memphis into uncomfortable rotations. And this is where Mitch Johnson's brilliance showed. Instead of trying to match Memphis' size, he went small with Jeremy Sochan at center, creating a switching, chaotic defensive unit that generated turnovers and pushed the pace. That lineup wasn't a panic move. It was strategic exploitation of Memphis and weaknesses. Sochan finished with 11 points and brought that signature edge that changed the game's energy. Luke Kornet deserves massive credit here. Yes, Edey won the individual matchup on paper, but Kornet's impact went way beyond the box score. He boxed Edey out consistently, altered shots with his length, grabbed offensive rebounds that led to second-chance points, and protected the rim when it mattered. There are many reasons why San Antonio is 6-2 without Wembanyama, but Kornet's veteran presence as the backup center is absolutely near the top of that list. This game also showcased why the Spurs drafted Dylan Harper. His ability to attack downhill and create advantages forced Memphis into defensive rotations they couldn't sustain. That's elite rookie instinct. If you were building a young team, would you prioritize tactical flexibility like the Spurs, or star power? Comment system, or stars, below. If you're vibing with this breakdown, hit that like. It helps us keep bringing you deep tactical analysis. Harrison Barnes just earned every dollar of his contract with this performance. 31 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists in almost 36 minutes of leadership and clutch shot-making. He made his first 3 three-pointers to set the tone early, and every time Memphis threatened to take control, Barnes had an answer. Attacked the rim, initiated offense, guarded bigger players on defense, a complete veteran performance, and Dylan Harper summed it up perfectly after the game. "The God blesses him every day," Harper said with Barnes smiling beside him during the post-game interview. 14 years in? Look at what he's doing, man. That respect from a rookie to a veteran tells you everything about the culture this team is building. But the real story of this win, De'Aaron Fox in crunch time. He struggled early, relied too much on his outside shot through 3 quarters, but when the game was on the line in the 4th, Fox took over. 11 points in the final period, including a running jumper, a pair of free throws, a massive three-pointer, and 4 more clutch free throws to ice the game. Keldon Johnson hit a huge 3 with 3:17 left to put the Spurs up 115-113 in a game that featured 23 lead changes. Then Fox closed the door. This is exactly who the Spurs thought they were getting when they traded for him. A confident, clutch point guard who doesn't flinch when the pressure's highest. Memphis fought hard. Tuomas Isalo sent his starting front court back in late despite foul trouble. But San Antonio's defense, especially Kornet protecting the rim, held firm. There's one thing that could change everything moving forward, and I'll get to that in just a second. Would you rather have Fox taking the last shot or Barnes? Tell me below, Fox or Barnes? The Spurs' depth was the ultimate difference maker in this one. And that's both encouraging and concerning for different reasons. Strengths. 5 players finished with at least 5 rebounds. Gang rebounding made up for a bad shooting night from Julian Champagnie and a quieter scoring performance from Devin Vassell. Carter Bryant knocked down threes and battled defensively. Jeremy Sochan played backup center with his usual intensity. Dylan Harper once again looked like a future star with fantastic drives and passes. This team has legitimate depth, vulnerabilities. The third quarter was ugly. If not for Harrison Barnes making timely buckets again and again, the Spurs could have been in serious trouble. Harper was relegated to an off-ball role at times and wasn't as impactful. The entire team, even those who normally thrive in the paint like Keldon Johnson, missed close shots. The small unit that created chaos in the first half got lost on rotations, leaving opponents open on cuts and from beyond the arc. San Antonio led by just 1 point heading into the 4th quarter, despite playing at home and shooting lights out from 3. That's a warning sign. If Memphis bigs had stayed on the floor without foul trouble, this game could have easily slipped away. The Spurs are winning, but they're learning. Every game without Wemby is both a confidence builder and a lesson in execution under pressure. What do you think is holding this team back the most right now? Youth, consistency, or transition defense? Drop your thoughts. The best comments get featured next episode. Here's the reality check. The Spurs just played their last home game for a while, and now they head out on a brutal road stretch. Next up, the Orlando Magic on Wednesday in a back-to-back situation after heavy minutes from the starters on Tuesday night. This is where depth gets tested. This is where fatigue becomes a factor. And this is where we'll find out if the 14-6 record is legit or if San Antonio's been riding a wave of good fortune and hot shooting. But here's what gives me confidence. The Spurs are 9-2 at home, And even on the road, they've shown they can grind out wins. De'Aaron Fox is finding his rhythm. Harrison Barnes is playing at an all-star level. Dylan Harper looks like the future. And when Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle return, and they will soon, this team is going to be genuinely dangerous. The real question is how Mitch Johnson integrates Wemby back into a system that's been thriving without him. Because right now, the Spurs are spacing the floor, shooting threes, and playing a style that doesn't rely on traditional rim protection. And if what I've heard about Castle's return timeline is accurate, things could get very interesting very fast. If this breakdown gave you something new to think about, smash that like and share it with a Spurs fan who needs to see how this team is really built. This win wasn't pretty, but it was gutsy. And that's exactly what championship teams do when their stars are out. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next week, especially when Wemby and Castle start making their way back to the lineup. Until next time, stay silver and black, stay sharp, peace.